There. So, excuse me. This slideshow is going to go over just kind of what having a virtual class in Zoom or Google Meets might look like. There are some pretty general ideas and things, but then there are also some things that are a little bit more specific to my class, so other teachers might not necessarily be doing them. But there are also some general good things that might be helpful to know if we have a virtual class again. So the first slide is my remote schedule. So this obviously is specific to me only. But if you click here, you are able to open up, and then this will be filled in with kind of my classes and my times. But then say that we're remote on a Monday again. This would be a hyperlink to the meeting, or in this square there would be a hyperlink to our Google Meet or our Zoom meeting. So this would be specific for the day. This is if it's less than a week, so 1 or 2 days. I'll put the date up here. This is a schedule if we are remote for more than 1 week. Again, all of the links and things would be in here. So that is just the first thing. It'll also be posted somewhere with semester 2 classes and things like that. So this is now going to go over just norms, things to keep in mind, things to know, etc. I linked in here, this is in your advisory pages, but just a remote learning guide. So it has just a breakdown of some kind of policies or expectations like around attendance and synchronous learning time. But it also has those definitions of what synchronous learning time is, or kind of clarifying some aspects of synchronous learning. And then on the second page, it has the 2 different schedules that we would follow if we are remote for 5 days or fewer, so for just 1 or 2 days, and then if we are remote for more than 1 week. Sorry that I keep touching my face. And then this is a link to, this is again in your advisory page, or it should be, but just something where if you can't make a synchronous learning time, it's up to you to make a plan for how you're going to figure that out and how you're going to check in and contact teachers and make up work and things like that. So this is just a document that might help doing that if you're a little bit stuck. So the first thing is in our class, right, we have the 5 agreements, so be impeccable with your word, don't take anything personally, don't make assumptions, always do your best. Be curious, skeptical, and willing to learn. So keep these in mind. Remember good intentions, and be brave. This is something different and new, so be brave, take a risk. Things to keep in mind just in general is to be aware of your surroundings and your background and be aware of how you're presenting yourself. This is not just for you, it's for everybody. It's for me too, other teachers, just to be aware of those things. So things to know now. Camera and mute. The camera can be on or off. It's your choice. I'm a guest in your space. We're all guests in each other's spaces. So it's totally up to you if you want to have your camera on or off. You can choose to turn it on or off at any time. You can start with it on, start with it off. It's what you do, whatever you got to do. My only ask is that you make choices that help you learn. That's my goal. I want you to leave our time together, however it may look like, having learned something. For muting, generally mute yourself when you're not speaking. Like when you enter a meeting, mute yourself, or if you're not speaking or actively part of a conversation, just mute yourself, because sometimes just feedback or background noise and or chaos sometimes can be a lot, and it can be very loud and overwhelming. And then just remember that sometimes if we're muted, we forget and we start to speak and we have to unmute, or if you ask someone a question or are waiting for a response, it just takes a little bit of time to unmute sometimes. So just be aware of that. Be patient. Things to know. My goal is that everybody learns leaving something. There are a couple different ways to do that. If you're muted or if you're choosing to have your camera off, that's fine. But you can respond, ask questions if you're going to choose to learn and interact this way. But if you're, you can also chat with the whole group, or in Zoom, send a private message to me. In Zoom, there are also reactions. So there are a lot of different ways. These are just some of them to interact and engage with each other. Learning needs. What do you need to learn? This is something I'm trying to be better at remembering and asking and being conscious of, but do you need to sit, stand, walk around, get a drink, stretch, in person or virtually? Do what you need to do so that you can show up and be ready to learn, or try to help yourself get there. And then this last thing, there's this thing called work time. Last year, it might have been called office hours. They're optional, but they can be really helpful. It would be just a Google Meet or a Zoom that I have running, that you can choose to use or not. But you can log in, you can come with your camera on, unmuted, and work or ask for help or things like that. You can log in, have your camera off and be unmuted and work, ask for help, ask questions, get support, work through things. You can log in, have your camera off, or have your camera on, be muted, and then use the chat or unmute yourself if you need help with something or want to work through something. You can also log in, turn off your camera, mute yourself, just do your own thing, work, but then if you're like, oh, I'm stuck, I need help, oh my god, you can come on and be like, hey, Miss W, I need help. And you can also choose not to log on, but they are pretty helpful. It's that kind of live time feedback, just like if we're in person. So this hopefully was helpful to just go over some more specific things of Zoom and Google Meets that we might not think about until we actually have to do one.